I'm Shannon Rutherford, the town planner. This is the Farmington Historic District Commission and roll call. Joanne Lawson,
Here.
Cliff Max,
Here.
Michelle Phelan,
Here.
Jay Bombara.
Here.
I will note regular member James Calciano is absent. Our alternates, I have Liz Gemsky,
Here.
Henry Purtill,
Here.
and I'll note for the record that Ted Sanford is absent. So, Mr. Chair, we've got one regular member, James Calciano, absent, that you can appoint a alternate for, please.
Okay, I'll appoint Henry, since he's here in the room, as for purposes of the meeting, to be the regular member. And with that, we will call the meeting to order, and we'll ask Michelle to read in the notice of hearing.
Notice is hereby given that the Farmington Historic District Commission will hold a hybrid in-person and online public hearing on Tuesday, April 15th, 2025 at 5 p.m. in the Town Hall Council Chambers on the following application. Farmington Historic District Study Report dated January 2025 concerning the addition of historic properties at 1 Mountain Spring Road, Elijah Lewis House, and 729 Farmington Avenue, Mary Barney Carey House. Interested parties are encouraged to participate in this hybrid public hearing. Participation in person is at 1 Monteith Drive, Town Hall, Town Council Chambers, or online participation is via the link to the meeting provided on Town of Farmington's website. A copy of this proposal is available online or by calling the Planning Department at 860-675-2325, dated at Farmington, Connecticut, this 21st day of March, 2025.
Thank you. With that, I'd ask the town to, the drill, state your name and your address, and please share what you have.
Right. Good evening, everyone. For the record, my name is Garrett Daigle. I'm the assistant town planner, and I will be presenting the study report for expansion of the Farmington Historic District. Shane, could you just go to the next slide? So just an idea of where we are in the process. When a property owner, in this case, the Farmington Historical Society, wants to add a property to the Farmington Historic District, the town council will form a study committee. The committee will create a report of the homes to be included. The report will then be submitted to the Town Plan and Zoning Commission, the chair of the town council, and the State Historic Preservation Office for review and approval. The State Historic Preservation Office approved the report in March, which brings us now to the public hearing of the study committee before the Historic Commission. Following that, if the report is approved, it'll go to the town council prior to the town council hearing to amend the ordinance. A ballot of the property owners has to be done because it's an expansion of the actual district. It's not a separate property. So that'll be noticed in the paper. That'll be sent to the Historical Society to vote yay to be included on both properties, and then it'll go to the town council for final adoption. All right, and this is just the map of the Farmington Historic District as it currently stands, with the two properties highlighted. The two properties being 1 Mountain Spring and 729 Farmington Avenue. 729 Farmington Avenue is directly adjacent to the Hillstead Museum, which is already part of the district, and then 1 Mountain Spring is directly across the street. All right, our first property is 1 Mountain Spring Road. I'm sorry. Next slide. It's the Elijah Lewis House. It's currently owned by the Farmington Historical Society. The home is a colonial revival Federal style and was constructed in 1790 for Captain Judah Woodruff for Elijah Lewis near the current 750 Farmington Avenue. Elijah Lewis operated a store at the current 778 Farmington Avenue and had two sons, Washington Decatur Lewis and Elijah L. Lewis. Washington passed away in 1856 and Elijah L. inherited the property. The home are believed to have been part of the Underground Railroad through Farmington, with reports from Julia Brandegie from the Farmington book stating a colored man living in town, Mr. George Hurlbert's house, often went to Mr. Elijah Lewis's at night, giving a signal. They would then go away together. One night around 9 o'clock, Mr. Lewis met this colored man and a slave where the Wolf Pit Road comes out of the Hartford Turnpike. They followed the high road to the Deer Cliff Farm and from there to Simsbury. Mr. Lewis once sold some land to Jane and Maria Thompson for George Anderson, who was a fugitive slave. The home passed through several owners following Elijah L. Lewis's passing before being purchased in 1972 by William Lidgerwood. In 1978, to accommodate the expansion of the former Parsons car dealership, the land was sold and the home was moved to its current location at One Mountain Spring by Mr. Lidgerwood, including having the original stone chimney dismantled and rebuilt by Ralph DiPietro. The home was purchased by the Farmington Historical Society in 2016. The interior of the home features several Robert Brandegee murals and images. A selection of the interior doors and a mantelpiece were removed by the Farmington Historical Society and are planned to be displayed at its new home across the street at 729 Farmington Avenue. Which brings us to 729 Farmington Avenue, which is the Mary Barney Carey House. This is a Tudor-style home and also located at 729 Farmington Avenue and also owned by the Farmington Historical Society. In 1926, D. Newton Barney of 11 Mountain Springs sold to his daughter, Mary Barney Dunham Carey, 6 acres and the homestead of Henry Lewis at 763 Farmington Avenue, the current location of the Berkshire Bank. Mary and her husband, Hiram Bissell Carey, president of the Collins Company, commissioned Heathcote Wilsley of New York to design the home and R.G. Bent to construct it. The home changed hands several times before being purchased by the Farmington Historical Society in January of 2025. The house is one of the last built examples of the early 20th century movement in building a curated Farmington with homes for the well-to-do on well-sited and often terraced properties. The house is carefully sited to provide views of the Farmington Valley, as well as the house's neighbors, the Hillstead. Sorry about that. That's some excerpts from the report, just to kind of go over once a home is included in the historic district. Any exterior changes that are visible from a public way need to be reviewed by the Historic District Commission for approval. This includes windows, doors, structural elements, fences, sheds, all kinds of exterior elements, with the exception of landscaping and paint. So for example, with this house, it's located at 1377 Farmington Avenue. So the front of the house would be subject to in this case, the Unionville Historic District, where the rear, which is this addition off the back, would not be because it's not visible from a public way. Any application for changes to a property requires a certificate of appropriateness from the Farmington Historic District. It's a free application. It must be submitted at least 21 days before the next meeting. Public hearing will be scheduled. A sign must be placed outside of the property that is subject to the hearing, and all property owners within 200 feet will be notified of the hearing, so they're aware. And that all those applications are done through the planning office and require a public hearing. I think that's about it. If anyone has any questions before I step down?
Yeah, why don't you just hold on? I'll pull the commission members and see if anybody has any questions. Henry?
Yeah, I had one question about 729. On the Farmington Historical Society's website, they mentioned they wanted to reconstruct the Phineas, am I saying that correctly? Phineas Lewis house there?
Yes, I believe that was a barn or home that was, I'm sorry, it's a home. It was a home that was deconstructed and put in storage. It was meant to be used elsewhere, but it'll eventually be hopefully put back, reconstructed on the new 729 Farmington Avenue parcel. That would require historic district approval before they can actually proceed with
Okay, but they're not asking us to
No.
decide anything on that today.
No, that would not be
Before
that. This is
yeah,
just
okay.
as the properties currently stand, and then as of today. So, for example, we always tell people that what's on your house at the time it's included is what you're required to kind of maintain. So if you had vinyl siding on your home, they can't be required to switch back to wood. You can maintain that vinyl siding. Most people would switch to wood or a hardy board because it's a little more. I'm just using it as an
Yeah,
example.
no, understood.
It would only be for the house as it currently stands. Any changes with it, if approved, then would come back to the commission for temporary certificate of appropriateness.
That's it for me.
Michelle?
I don't have any questions. Thank you.
I don't have any questions either.
Cliff?
Nope, no questions. Thank you.
Liz?
No, thanks, Garrett. No questions.
Okay, I don't either. I will say that, just a little more on that Phineas Lewis house. Yeah, that is a Judah Woodruff house that was at the location where the Berkshire Bank is now. So they
Okay.
took that down, built the Berkshire Bank. There was an attempt to save it. The best, we could do was to put it in storage. And ironically, that parcel that the Berkshire Bank is on was originally part of a parcel owned by the Barneys. It was cut out when, Mary Barney was given the property by her father to build the house on. So it would be ironic if it did end up back on that basic parcel, which would be nice. Phase 18 of the, Historical Society's plans, probably. Thank you.
No problem.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is there anybody online? Sorry.
Yeah, if anyone's
Sorry.
called in online to offer.
And I didn't ask in interior either. Sorry.
That's fine. If anyone's called in online to offer comment regarding the application, please raise your hand using the feature in Zoom and you'll be acknowledged to address the commission. Again, if anyone's called in online to offer comment regarding the expansion study, please raise your hand using the feature in Zoom. Mr. Chair, there's no hands raised.
Is there anybody in the room who would like to comment on this? No? Okay, thank you. Thank you. So now, do we need a motion to, and what is the motion, I guess?
Well, the motion would be to adopt the, oh, hang on, we've got Liz raised her hand. Liz, go ahead.
Hi, sorry. Not trying to ruffle any feathers, but the applicant is the Historical Society. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Yes.
And we have members of our board that sit on the Historical Society. Is that accurate?
Yes.
So I guess my question is, should those members be voting on an application put forth by themselves?
That's a fair question. I thought about that. And for everybody's awareness, that would be me and Joanne. Jim is, not Jim, not just me
Ted.
and Joanne.
Ted.
Ted is as well. Ted's not here. I'm happy to step aside, and I don't know about Joanne. I mean, I guess I thought about it and I said, there's no personal interest, for any of us, nor really, the Historical Society generally, other than, preserving the property, which is the mission. But if Liz, you think it's more
Like,
prudent.
I have no problem with it. I just think optically it probably doesn't look good,
Do you think?
in my personal opinion.
All right,
have a quorum without.
right. All right, then, I'll recuse, you recuse yourself, and then we can figure out how to. Is that okay?
We can. So are you both going to recuse yourselves or just?
Just you. You're the president.
Well, wouldn't you as well?
You're an officer
Okay,
too. I will if.
So you
If you
can,
have a
so
quorum.
we do, because we have two more people online.
we do. So there's two online, so all four would vote then. So
Okay, I
Liz,
recuse
Liz would
myself.
have to be appointed to vote and the four then is quorum.
Now, do I appoint the person that's going to serve in my place?
So, yes.
Okay, I'll appoint, or I'll ask Liz to serve in place of, Joanne, who's recused herself, and I'll ask Cliff to serve in the place of
Well,
myself.
Cliff is a full member, so that's,
Oh,
you're-
oh.
You're only gonna have four. So Cliff is a.
But we're
full
still
member.
okay?
So you're four.
That's
Yep.
what you're saying.
So you're four.
Yep.
Right? So Henry's vote is already in place for
Okay,
Jim. So Liz can be in place for you and then Joanne will just be, her space will be absent, which is fine. There'll be four then, four voting members, Michelle, Henry, Cliff, and Liz.
okay.
And then and Michelle then would,
You're not
as
acting chair.
secretary, then would just ask for the nomination.
for the-
That's fine.
Yeah,
That's
that's
how you have to just ask for
second.
the motion and the second.
All right, I'll ask for a motion to approve the Farmington Historic District Study Report concerning the addition of the historic properties at 1 Mountain Spring Road and 729 Farmington Avenue.
So moved.
And a second.
I'll
Okay.
second.
Further discussion?
Oh, any discussion? And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And any opposed? Motion so moved.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. And thank you, Liz. That probably was the best way to handle that.
Yeah,
So
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cause problems. I just thought optically it would be best.
not a problem. And I was thinking about it last night and I said, it's probably okay. But I meant to even ask if anybody was concerned about it. So appreciate that. Not a problem.
Thanks.
Okay. With that, do we have a other business or a staff report?
No, sir, unless anybody has any questions for me about anything, I do not have a staff report.
I do have a question. I know, in the previous meeting, we had, discussed, the vinyl window, exploring vinyl windows, for the Church Street property.
Yes.
And in emails, I think Jim had said he walked by and everything was okay. So what do we do now? Because vinyl, I guess my concern or my questions are along the line of, I kind of know and understand what to do with the windows, replacement windows that we've been dealing with, and vinyl's been out of the question, but there's a broad marketplace for vinyl windows. Like, so how do we handle that? Or like, what do we have to think about?
Well, I guess first on the practical, I mean, until and unless the applicant comes back again, asking for the vinyl windows, there's no formal thing we need to do with that. That's,
Okay,
and I guess secondly, I'd say that's Jim's opinion. So that
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily carry. So I think any type of window and any different type of material, we're always, when there's an application before us, we look at it and we make the decision at that time whether we think it's appropriate for the historic district.
okay, all right. So it's just really kind of tabled until it's
Yeah, if
brought
somebody
up.
comes before us with that type of material again, or for those windows, which we, the applicant from that, Church Street may very well do that, but until then, I don't think there's anything for us to do.
Okay,
Okay. Anything else on other business or questions for the town or anybody? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the March 25 meeting? I looked at them, they look,
We'll say
Good.
as amended because
Oh.
Ted had amended them and Lance reissued the revision yesterday.
okay, as amended by Lance in light of comments received.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as amended for the March 25th, 2025 meeting. Second?
Thanks. I have a motion. I have a second on the minutes. Any further discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, great. That's done. All right. Well, with that, meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.